importation of materials, articles, and equipment. I'll begin with importation of motor vehicles. Is guided by 3 acts. ECMA 2004, 5th schedule, Part A, Item 8. CAT Act of 2013, 1st schedule, Part 1, Section A, Item 39. And Excise Act of 2015, Section Schedule, Part A, Item 4. Now, as a PWD, what do you need for importation? For one, you need to be registered with the council. Have a PWD card. Then you need to have started your importation process. What do I mean by that? What I mean, if you're a PWD, you're registered by the council and have a PWD card, you can start your importation process. And the documents you'll have include a bill of lading, invoice, and a packing list. Then you'll come to, then you'll go to the council. I'll give you a checklist of all the items that you need. I'm just running through. So you'll go to the council, other attached documents, then you come to KRA, and the process starts. Okay? I run through a checklist of what you need. You need to have an application letter to the Commissioner, Border and Customs Control. You need to have an original medical certificate from a registered doctor and a certified copy of the same. There was supposed to be a projector here. No. I will go through the list. The projection comes. Repeat again. Start again. Number one was application letter addressed the Commission of Customs Border Control. The second item is an original medical certificate from a registered doctor, an attached copy of the same. Number three, an original letter of recommendation from the council, persons PWD. Then, for physically disabled or differently abled, need a copy of a driving license. Okay? And for people who are hearing disability or visual disability, need to nominate a person to help you in your drive the vehicle. Need a bill of lading. You need an invoice addressed to the applicant. Need a tax compliance certificate, cash remittance and transfer slips used to pay for the vehicle, bank statement of the applicant for 6 months or last 6 months, copy of the national ID, copy of the national PWD ID. One thing to note, for the physically able, for the PWD, physical PWDs, the motor vehicle will be modified. Another thing to note, you're eligible to buy another vehicle after every 4 years upon disposal of the previous one. But there's also another point. If for any reason your vehicle is written off, either due to accident, fire, or theft, and now, you are not limited in any vehicle you can import. But you have to convince KRA the vehicle you're importing can actually afford it. Okay? That's why we require your bank statements for the last 6 months. And somebody commented about can be reduced. But for us, it is knowing if you can import that vehicle. And also, there are people who have other transactions outside the bank, for example, M-Pesa. You can also attach statements from M-Pesa, so that when you see the car vehicle you're importing vis-a-vis your income status, you are comfortable that vehicle belongs to you. An organization is not allowed to import a vehicle. Yes? That's according to the Act. They can import other things which we talked therefore. Materials, articles for scientific and cultural and environmental advancement, the PWDs. Is that clear? Yes. Okay, now, for vehicles, let me close with this. For vehicles, it's dependent on the CC of the vehicle. It ranges from 25 to 35. So the duty is not standard. Yes? A vehicle with a 1500 cc has different duties from a vehicle with 3000 cc. Okay, so it's different. You cannot give one answer. When we come to us in our offices, you come with a picture of details of what you're importing. We'll give the details of the vehicles that you can pay. Yeah?
Greetings to everyone. Hello, hello. So my name is Eric Amadi, and that's my sign name. I have a concern and a question, two things. First one is accessibility during employment. In KRA, do you have accessible services to the deaf in KRA? For instance, KRA always announces information through writing. But my question is, for a person who is deaf, is there an interpreter there so that the deaf can be able to access the information? That's my big question. I need that one to be implemented. Secondly, is regarding employment. I see that we have 17 interpreters that are employed already. Wow, that's amazing. Those who are employed got information through adverts. That's fine. But my question, that advert, it announced employment for interpreters or employment for what? Which, is it for interpreters, employment, or, because I never saw the announcement stating that the employment is only for sign language interpreters. That's my big question. Another challenge, it says that deaf people never applied. The problem is KRA announced all those requirements. If you have maybe masters, bachelors, for the deaf, it's difficult for them to apply. Yeah, that is clearly they can't apply because how many deaf people do you know who have learned in the area of technology? Meaning that KRA can have can be accessible so that the deaf can be able to apply for these jobs. Staff members need to train them once they apply. I'll give you an example. South Africa has, not South Africa, sorry, Safaricom, yes, has 2 deaf employees therein. What did they do first? They did practicals during attachment. When they became skilled, they began working and they were employed. Why can't KRA do the same? That's my question and that I need response. Just briefly, let me support his question. Kindly allow me. He wants to add something. Yeah. Greetings to everyone. Sorry, my name is Benson, and that's my sign name. My question is regarding the staff and the interpreters. Hongera sana. So number one, I don't know. Deaf people here, many of them are unemployed. Secondly, in business, some of them don't even have businesses. KRA and ITax. KRA and ITax always have yearly reports. But for those who don't have jobs, they ignore those. Must they act regarding their tax exemptions and all that if they are unemployed or not? Or is it equal? Should they ignore or not? I don't know whether the question is clear. If they don't have any jobs, if they are unemployed, are they supposed to file their returns? Yes, that was the question. Must they file those returns or not? Because majority don't know. Secondly, I agree with Eric and Abdi, and also Eunice. I heard that they had gone for a meeting and they gave their proposals. We hoped that they could be able to ask us, but they didn't. So my concern is to KRA. Where are deaf people there? I don't see anyone there. How are you going to implement all these proposals that have been proposed to you? Yes. You want to? So one big question, just one big question. My question, the biggest question in the world, regarding the law, Kenyan law. Does it allow, I'm talking about deaf people. Are they approved to drive in Kenya? Does the law of Kenya allow deaf people to drive in Kenya? Because KRA and NTSA, some of them say that deaf people are should not be allowed to drive. So when you come and try to get the driving license from NTSA, they say that sometimes they allow, sometimes they don't. They get you, they might arrest you. But how about the law? Please explain regarding the law of Kenya, whether it allows deaf people to drive or not. Maybe you want to respond?
Thank you very much. Very many questions over there, and they are good questions. Before I embark on whatever it is within our means, for example, when we have 17 sign language interpreters, why can't I have one sign language interpreter within my office or near where I sit, so that when there is need, I just place a call and I say, so-and-so, please come, we need you. And then you are served, and you are served well, so that we deal with the attitudinal problem. Now, coming back to the specific areas of need, those needs that you have and you feel, for example, the modification of the vehicles. Again, as I sat here, I was thinking in terms of the kind of modifications that a deaf person might need. I mean, they are able to maybe press the pedals, the accelerator pedal, they are able maybe to change their gears so they can see. But the problem is hearing. So what kind of modifications then would they need mounted onto the vehicle? So this is something that can be discussed. It's a conversation that your office, the council, I don't know if you have a society or it's a council that takes care of your interests, such that you are able to consolidate all these issues and you channel them to the executive director, Mr. Hassan. And we sit at the same table with Mr. Hassan many, many times because we are always debating how do we improve our service delivery to this special group of Kenyan citizens. So there is a lot that we can do, but we call upon you also to initiate this and let us put things where they belong. Those things which we think are not available, you don't have access to them, and they need to be thought through. You have your leaders. Let your leaders then channel them to the council. Those things that are within the docket of KRA, for example, when you have gone through the vetting and you need your tax exemption certificate and it's not coming, that I will respond to. If you have placed your application for importation of a motor vehicle and there is a hitch, that lies squarely in our backyard that we should be able to deal with. And if still that isn't working and there is more that we need to do, like what we've talked about, the modification and all that, we can have a conversation. You remember what I said in the morning? There are a lot of things that need a bit of cleanup, even in the PWD Act itself. Okay? And those things, we have placed them before the CS. We have put in our recommendations, and they are work in progress. There is a lot of streamlining that is required in the area of tax exemption vetting process. Like I said, once your condition is known and it is permanent, from where I sit, I don't see the reason why we need to subject you to a renewal process of the tax exemption. It just doesn't make sense because your condition will not change. It's irreversible. Why do we have to subject you to a renewal process after every 5 years? It doesn't make sense. But again, until it is put in law, and that's why we need the input of the National Council for Persons with Disabilities, working together with all the stakeholders, so that the law is streamlined. The regulations are there. In that law, there are a lot of benefits. That's why I'm asking, where is the council? Why don't we have representation from the council in this meeting? It provides for very many benefits, including the cash transfers, ensuring that you are well placed, job opportunities. They should be, agitating for placement of persons that have credentials and they can work and deliver in the jobs that have been advertised. I know also we have GEC, the National Gender and Equality Commission. This is the commission that is mandated to ensure compliance with these laws as far as equality is concerned. And I know Dr. Joyce, who is the chairman, is very concerned with this, keeps checking the institution. So we need to work around all these issues so that we then include what we think has not been factored, but what then is our responsibility as KRA, we will deal with that. So if you, for example, if you have any pending income tax exemptions, you have applied, you have gone for vetting, and the applications have not been processed, ask me, I will tell you, because that's my docket, and I should make sure that if then there is something that is missing, we come back to you and we advise you on what needs to be done. Have I attempted to respond to all the issues? They are complex issues, those that require further discussion, further conversation. But we can advance that conversation with the relevant institutions. Is that a good answer, or are those good answers? Oh, filing of returns. Thank you. Thank you. I remember, and I'm sorry for that. Yes. You have a PIN, you don't have a job, and you are required to file your tax return. Again, these are issues that we can pick up for discussion. MNC can log in this because these are issues that are coming through. If someone has a PIN, they don't have an income, perhaps we need to look at that. Let's pick this for discussion. I know we have also picked it for another category of taxpayers who have asked a similar question. And we are saying we need to think and discuss with management, and then we see what special considerations we can have. Is that okay? Thank you. Thank you very much. Again, I take that on a very positive note because it's a challenge that we should take positively. MNC, we need to see whether we can have some special desks to take care of persons in this category, in this community. This is my thinking. So that then, even when they come for PINs, and perhaps we can network with the council, we need to have a status in iTax. If somebody is a person living with disability, in our database, we should be able to see that information. Then we can tailor-make some of the processes and services for this special category of taxpayers. Yes. We can have special desks. We can be able to generate a report for them. Okay? We need to have a strategy of maybe accessing them. And this is where we will need your cooperation. Because one of the challenges that we have in KRA is this. But do they know it? I think we need to network. So what I'm saying is this. We need to come up with a strategy specifically for your community that is working for you. And that we can do. But I was explaining.
Because when you hire a vehicle, it's very expensive. Number two, I want to know, we have two imports. Vehicles and other equipments for maybe working, which they can help that person living with a disability. But when you decide to bring and import a vehicle to help serve you as a person with a disability, is it okay? Is it exempted or not? Maybe you can advise regarding that. She's not through with the questions. Just continue. Before, we had an assumption that there's a limit. Just because when you know that, if the vehicle is more than 2,000 cc, then you cannot be able to bring it. But a vehicle like a Prado. So from your presentation, you say that we can be able to bring any type of vehicle, whether it's a Prado or any other vehicle. I would like to know the limit or the limits regarding those vehicles to be able to be imported. Or regarding tax exemption during tax exemption and import duty and VAT. These three things are not the same. I would like to know regarding VAT, it says that since it's 16, the rumor said that it will be 18%, but for now, 16%. How much is the import duty so that we can know? So that we can be able to know the exemption. How much is the exemption limit? I don't know whether those are clear.
Let me handle those two. Now, there was the issue of attitude of KRA staff. I can assure you, the office where I am, they're very sensitive to PWD issues. In fact, the guest file's priority. So if there's anyone who had a different experience, our office is open. You can come and tell us and complain. There was an issue of hearing disability. There was an issue of the handling of people with hearing disability. I admit, at times in the past we used writing as a way of communication. And at times I've seen like we don't communicate effectively. So KRA has sign language interpreters and more are coming. So that issue, the issue of the past. Was an issue of hearing disabled and people with visual disability having drivers, especially with hearing disability. It is the opinion of the unit that if of hearing disability, it is important to have somebody else to assist you, especially for the sake of our documentation. Because I won't want somebody with a hearing disability gets into an accident, then later complain they're not properly informed about the other choices that they have. We know it is a challenge. Yes, we know it is a challenge. It is a challenge, I understand, because you see, can I finish then? It is a challenge for us as KRA, because even the hearing disabilities is a full range. Some who are completely deaf, those who can hear. But now, for the sake of our unit, those are the procedures. Because let's say the truth. A vehicle can also be deadly. A vehicle can also be deadly. So as a unit, we decided, let us, these people, have somebody else to assist them. For the sake of the unit. Yes? I know we may disagree with that, but as we think, the sensitivity of a vehicle, and in case you have an accident, who will you blame? You understand? I know we'll have challenges with that. You cannot always agree on everything, but that's what the unit felt. Okay? Of course, these are ongoing conversations. And I know as KRA, we are open to listening. Through the council, we can have discussions as KRA, so we can have, if people think we require a different way of dealing with this kind of PWDs, then we can see. Am I done? I think we'll have more people. Nimemaliza yake kwanza. Kuna moja bado? About the hiring of a driver. Okay. And then? Okay, let me say this. You are not limited.
That one of the challenges that we have in KRA is that taxpayers give us numbers that don't work. They give us emails that also don't deliver mails. So when we want to reach you, we send an email, it bounces back. You give us your telephone number. When we want to call, it goes unanswered or it is dead. How do we reach you? I will leave this with you because you need to discuss with your leaders and you tell us how you want KRA to communicate with you. How do we access you? How do we talk to you? So that then we don't have to wait until when we have a forum like this one, so that we are addressing issues in areas. But we need to come up with a communication strategy. And I leave that with you. I saw Abdi here. I don't know whether he's still in here or he's out there. But it is important we agree. Okay? How do we communicate with you? MNC, are we talking? Very, very important. So that now when we have set special days and there are people who have issues filing the return, they have a way of reaching us and we just file for them from the back office. Is that good enough? Are we communicating? Yes. I was explaining that some of the issues that are coming through, there are issues that we can deal with as KRA. We can come up with a strategy that will help us to serve you better. And I explained that the problem that we have with a big section of our taxpayers is that you give us contacts that don't work. You give us emails that don't deliver mails. You give us numbers that don't go through. So, my dear friends, how do we communicate? Okay? We can tailor-make something, can have those special desks, can even assign people, maybe out to them. But we need to agree with them. How do you want KRA to reach you? Are we together up to that point, Abdi? We are good? Okay? So it is two-way. You do your part, and KRA will do its part. Then what belongs to the National Council, make sure that it is delivered there through your leadership. Any issue that I have not addressed? Are we comfortable with those responses? Do they make sense? Thank you. Go on.
For example, you have your own land, or you are a landlord, you've built a house. So how do you pay? You need to come to KRA for services. Is that correct? My colleague, is that correct? Correct? So his question is, when you have a land and you've built your own building on it, so yearly you're supposed to be filing on it, right? So see, those are the services you come to KRA for it. Is that correct or wrong? Correct. So every year, if I fail to file, so the government comes and takes the land, or maybe they start building something in the same area. So I have a challenge between me and the KRA. So how do we sort that? How do we solve that?
A good one. Now, if you get to that extent where you put up your own house and you are receiving rent, rental income? There is rental income? Okay. Now, if you receive rent, that rental income, because of your disability, is subject to income tax exemption. So that means if you follow the procedure and you have the income tax exemption, it means you will not fall in a debt position that then will bring KRA to come and take over your land. That will not happen. But make sure that you file your returns. If you have an issue, let us know where we can assist you to file your returns. Where you need to be granted tax exemption, we will give you tax exemption. We are considerate. We are not that bad. Okay? Thank you. Thank you very much. I want to advise all of us. Because you will be in business, you will be receiving some incomes. that probably are subject to tax. Please let us take note, even in this meeting, that with effect from, I think with effect from January, from July this year, there is no more waiver of interest and penalties. That's why we are telling you, if you need help in terms of filing, please let us know so that we can help you. Because we don't want you to fail to file your returns, and then there are penalties, interest, and we don't have a window to deal with them. Talk to us. Is it difficult to talk to us? Friends, is it difficult for you to reach out to us? MNC, especially. Yes, where we'll be able to receive maybe their issue. Something. Have I made it very clear? So make sure that your return filing is good. It is up to date. Don't fall in arrears. If you have a problem filing, come to us. We will help you. Okay? Yes, brother?
I have a question directly to you. You've been talking about KRA, especially on online service, iTax. Some of the needs we have is a KRA PIN. Most people believe it's for work when you're employed. For example, you got a job, so the company needs what? What are the requirements? They need you to provide a KRA PIN certificate. It has your PIN. Then you end up struggling and imagining, how do I get a KRA PIN? Where do I do that? Where do I ask my friends? Then you decide to go to a cyber. So you see, that is a business place. They are only focusing getting money. They manipulate the system and produce the certificate to you. So at that point, I'm bankrupt, but many deaf go to that place. So they decide to go to KRA office. They create a PIN for you. KRA, do we print, or where do we go when you want a KRA PIN number? That's the highlight from him. So if a deaf wants a KRA PIN, so when someone wants a KRA PIN certificate number, just repeating on that. For example, you've gotten a job,